Stop, guys, and listen to me. Everyone says learning a language is supposed to be fun and easy. Just immerse yourself, use the right app, and you will be fluent in no time. Right? Well, here's the truth. No one tells you. It's not that simple, and that's exactly why most people quit. In this video, guys, I'm going to break down the harsh realities of language learning that no one talks about, but every single language learner has to face. The first and comfortable truth is language learning isn't always fun, and that's okay. If this is the first video you are watching about language learning, maybe it's going to make you feel a little bit sad. But that's the reality. I feel like some people who are learning foreign languages tend to romanticize the process, like learning a foreign language is always exciting, it's always fun. But the reality is it can feel monotonous, just like every single skill that you are acquiring. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's boring, and when it becomes dull and monotonous, it doesn't mean that you have to quit. It doesn't mean that language learning isn't for you. That's the reality. Like sometimes it happens, and that's okay. It happens to me right now. It happened to me, guys, in the past with English, right? And all the other foreign languages I was learning. I think the key here is to accept that not every single aspect of language learning is going to be fun. For example, to me, I would say learning grammar right now is not that fun. It just isn't. It's monotonous. It's boring. It's dull. And that's okay. And the real progress happens when you push through these boring parts, when you find a way to make these boring things less boring, right? It's dull, and that's okay. And the real progress happens when you push through and these boring parts, when you find a way to make these boring things less boring. I would say less monotonous. I know that deep down I don't enjoy grammar that much, but I know that if I'm watching a YouTube video about a specific grammar rule, I'm going to enjoy it a lot more. Like instead of, being this boring, it becomes this boring, right? Which is already a lot better. The next uncomfortable truth about language learning that I want to talk about in this video is that fluency is a moving target. Okay, many people think that once they reach fluency, they are done. I'm fluent, woo, success. But fluency is fluid, and your language skills change all the time depending on your environments and depending how much you practice, depending on your confidence level. One day I'm in a good mood, right? I feel super confident and my English is amazing. The next day, all the words I have in my brain are just in, Hindi, because my native language is Hindi. It happens. And also different levels of fluency are required for different situations. When we were talking about fluency at work, if you are a doctor, a surgeon, let's say, obviously your English skills will have to be a lot higher for you to be truly confident and professional when it comes to your job, like speaking English at your job. But if your goal for learning English to talk to your friends in English, you will reach fluency a lot faster, right? This way, when I was in high school and college, I wanted to become fluent in English so bad, right? Like, when I first heard this word, I was like, yes, this is my goal and I want to be fluent in English. But like, what is fluency? For different people, for different goals, for different situation, fluency is going to be different. Fluency is going to be different thing. And so now when I am more experienced language learner, I can call myself that I don't want to be fluent in Hindi or in any other. I have my goals in in Japanese or in Korean, like what I wanted to learn now. I wanted to reach my specific goals in Korean. When I do these specific small action every single day, I know that I am getting closer and closer to my goals. Some people are going to say, oh my god, you are already fluent in in English or in Korean, because I'm learning Korean right now. So other people are going to say you still need to work on your grammar, but I know what my goals are, and I know when I reach a certain goal that I set for myself. Now guys, I'm going to talk about the language uncomfortable truth number 3 is a lot of people give up language learning because of a lack of emotional resilience. Not intelligent, a lot of language learners quit because they say that they are not smart enough, or that language learning is just not for them, or that they are just not naturally gifted at language learning, right? But I honestly think that the main reason why people quit language learning is because they can't handle the emotional. It's roller coaster of language learning. Yes, sometimes you are going to feel frustrated, and that's okay. That's a part of your journey, and a lot of people can fully come to terms with it, and that's why they quit. And so training the skill of emotional resilience when it comes to language learning is going to be key. Being in those situations where you forget a word, or you make a mistake, or you say something stupid is going to build your emotional resilience. Instead of giving up, quitting immediately and saying that's too hard, it's not for me, I'm not naturally gifted at language learning, try again and again, you will succeed, right? And speaking of building resilience, whether you are learning a new language or launching a passion project, having the right tools to stay consistent, because consistency is the key. Now let's move on to the uncomfortable truth number 4. You will never speak perfectly, and that's perfectly okay. It happens to all of us, guys. Because language learners, to me too, when I record these YouTube videos, I want to speak perfectly. I don't want to make any mistakes. And honestly, this pressure to be perfect can be, paralyzing, because you are so afraid to make a mistake or mispronounce something. You are going to be less likely to want to actually speak the language, to want to actually share your perspectives with others. And yes, while this idea that even native speakers make mistakes can help you, that's amazing. I also think that when native speakers say something and they know they made a mistake, they don't really care. Like their confidence level is so high just because it's their native language, and generally language learners really struggle with their confidence level. And generally language learners really struggle with their confidence levels. Usually we think that when we make a mistake, because our confidence is already have a, versus a native speaker is going to be up, right? So here when a native English speaker makes a mistake, they are like, whatever, nothing will change. I'm not a native English speaker. I still know that I know the language, I can speak the language well. But when we non-native English speakers of English, we make a mistake, our confidence was here, not here. When we say something incorrectly, it goes from here to here and here. So it's really important to work on your confidence level. When you are a language learner, when you want to speak English fluently, when you acquire a new language, and honestly those people who have higher confidence level and they learn foreign languages faster just because they don't care that much, and not because they have a mysterious unique language learning ability. No, it's because when they make a mistake, when they mess up, when they say something incorrectly, they just don't care, right? They just don't care. They learn from their mistakes, and they move on their confidence. Now I'm going to share the uncomfortable truth number 5 is that your native language can really hinder your progress. You are not managing it correctly. There is term is in linguistics called cross language interference. It's basically where your native language's grammar and structure influence the way you talk and write in a foreign language. And for many of us, this cross language interference is a serious challenge, guys. Instead of feeling sad when you have it, because we all language learners are going to experience that at some point, we should just be aware of it. And you know, guys, how to navigate around it, so far you do better understand what is linguistic term is and how it shows in practice. I'm going to give you a few examples here. Or if you are a native language in Spanish, because sometimes I'm quite familiar with the Spanish, because earlier I have learned that, now I forget. If I talk about the Russian language doesn't have articles, or for the Russians who are learning English, it becomes very hard to grasp the idea of when they have to use a, an, or the. I'm not a native English speaker, right? So I struggle so much with just that pronunciation of all these articles, let alone and how to use them grammatically in, you know, in Russian, because that time I was learning Russian. So it's totally okay to say I have a car, but in English you absolutely have to say I have a car. You can't just say I have car. It's going to be grammar mistake, and these little mistakes can help you to understand what the native language of the person you are talking to is. Because when I talk to a person and they always omit articles, I can understand why they are doing that. So in Hindi we always do the direct translation to English. It's so exactly because of that, a lot of people who speak English as their native language, as once they start speaking English, they continue using, you know, translation, and that's why they forget the words, right? Because if you are going to translate it into direct Hindi to English, you will always stuck. Okay, so in most situations it's going to be incorrect. And so again, understanding that this cross language interference happens to every single English learner, every single language learner out there, it's going to help you to navigate around all of these challenges and all of these problems. So is it a feeling like you will never understand English grammar? Yes, the pattern is different, but you can understand this new pattern. Now let's move on to uncomfortable truth number 6. The myth of immersion. It's often not enough. Immersion is often seen as this ultimate hack for language learning. Everyone talks about immersion online, right? Immerse online, and I support it 100% because it's an amazing principle when it comes to language learning. However, being surrounded by the language doesn't necessarily mean that you will learn it, because you have to be active. You have to be actively engaged with the language to be able to successfully learn it, right? There are so many people who move abroad, let's say an English speaking country like the USA. And then what happened is, because they are immersed in the language is term of, yes, they live in the United States of America, but they are not actively engaged with the language. Their progress is very slow. Even though, yes, technically they live in an English speaking country, and that's why I often say that just moving to an English speaking country is not enough. I mean, I can learn a language too. I can learn a language to a very good level without actually being in the country. It's 100% possible, guys. It's 100% possible if you are not in that native, country. It is 100% possible if you are moved to the country where your target language is spoken. It's not guaranteed that you are going to become fluent in this language, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, isn't? International and focused learning are important, even in those immersive environment. Again, I am highlighting here because I have noticed that a lot of people think that immersion just means listening to music in your target language somewhere in the background while you are driving, singing along, and that's it. I mean, it can be a part of the process, But if you never look up the words, if you never actively engage with the language, I don't think your language skills are going to improve fast. You know, sometimes when you listen to the musics, and you understand the lyrics and you can sing along, but you don't actually know what that means, and it happens to a lot of us. Let's talk about language learning apps. Personally, I think that language learning apps are a tool, not a solution. I know we all are looking for a magic pills, an app that is going to make us miraculously fluent. I know that you guys want that, and I know that I want that too. But unfortunately, it's just not realistic. There are so many amazing language learning apps out there, and they should be just a part of your toolkit. You know, sometimes you get bored and you see this app, sometimes you start using a different resources. It all depends on how you feel. You know, if you feel a little bit bored, like your language learning has become monotonous or dull, you can give this app, right? You can try some like maybe songs, you can just listen the podcast. I really don't want you to think that the one app is going to become the solution for you guys, is going to make you fluent just by using this one single app. Okay, and final uncomfortable truth about language learning is that you can learn a language without becoming fluent. I think there is an overemphasizes on fluency as the ultimate goal, and I'm not going to lie. In the past, when I was learning English, that was my ultimate goal, and I wanted to become fluent even if I didn't really understand what that word mean. That now when I started learning another languages, I only realize that you don't need to be fluent. You have to meaningful conversation, okay, and to use the language in real life in a certain moments and situation. I feel extremely confident in my native language, that is Hindi, right? I feel fluent, yes, we can say this. Why? But in other situations I lack vocabulary, I lack grammar, I just feel like I'm a beginner again. So I just don't want you guys to get discouraged if in a certain moments you don't feel fluent in your foreign language, in English. When you feel like you are forgetting everything, when you feel like this, one situation your vocabulary was amazing, your grammar was amazing, but in the different situations, on a different day, you stumbled, you made a lot of mistakes, and now you are questioning your fluency. You can still learn the language and enjoy the process without being fluent. And I am honestly don't really want you to set this goal for fluency, because it's so subjective for one person. Fluency is talking a language test and scoring C1, C2 on it. For another person, fluency is having meaningful conversation. If you want to improve your English, please subscribe to my channel so you will get the notification for all the videos. And if you like my video, please give thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe my channel. So thanks for watching. Bye bye, take care.